Good evening, families. It is an honor to be here with you tonight to present the state of the school. My name is Dr. Sousada Grande, and I am the principal here at Academy of Whole Learning. Today's meeting will be in a webinar format. This means that it is being recorded and can be accessed at a later time. This also means that your cameras and microphones are off. However, if at any time during the night that you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature. We will be sending out all the answers to questions in written format next week so that everyone, even those not able to attend tonight, can have access to the questions and answers. Tonight, you will have the opportunity to hear from key staff in our organization, informing you about highlights from this school year at Academy of Whole Learning and updates on our new site to come this summer, 2022. Teaching and leading during a pandemic is never easy. Thankfully, here at Academy of Whole Learning, we are able to see the glass as half full. Last year, there was a lot of maneuvering from the virtual to in-school learning with lots and lots of changes. Each time there were changes, it took its toll on students, staff, and families. This year, although we have not had to move to online learning yet, our team is fully prepared to go online if we need to. In early January, we provided teachers with a full day to prepare cohesive and engaging lesson plans for 2 weeks at a time, should we need to move to online school due to the high transmission rate, the highest it has ever been. We are thankful for the continued support from families through emails, phone calls, and yes, even warm meals during long conference days. Thank you for acknowledging that we have had to make some tough calls for the safety of our students. One thing that sets us apart from larger school districts with even more resources is that we are able to prevent the spread of COVID for our second year in a row. Shout out to our talented COVID team. This year, we even hired a COVID coordinator who happens to be an AOWL parent and a board of trustee member, Allison Barosko. Another shout out goes to our executive director, Dr. Wyayn Rasmussen, for wearing the COVID queen crown before Allison took over. As a parent of an unvaccinated toddler, it is with great confidence that I can truly say that I feel safe at our school because of our COVID team. Our COVID coordinator is in charge of careful monitoring and tracking of symptoms and exposures, offers frequent testing and adheres to strict Center for Disease Control protocols, and provides timely contact tracing. The challenge we face adhering to CDC guidelines meant that some students had to be out of school for weeks at a time. We thank parents and caretakers for entrusting our team of experts to provide a safe learning space for students, as well as for the kind and supportive emails and phone calls to let us know that you appreciate our team. On top of all of this, we had staffing changes that hit us hard in the fall and through the winter. From a behavior therapist leaving to return to school, to a family illness that required a member of our administrative team to resign, to a personal health concern that left us without a middle school teacher. Staffing challenges in the fall meant all hands on deck. Everyone chipped in to cover for the staff shortages, including the behavior team, teachers working during their preps, and the school leadership team. That includes Dr. Wyayn subbing. We truly have an amazing team here at Academy of Whole Learning. Staffing updates. After assessing our needs due to a variety of factors, including the pandemic year 2, we decided to add 2 more behavior therapists, 1 more in the middle school and 1 more in the high school, for a total of 3 middle school therapists and 3 high school therapists. We also hired a talented new administrative assistant, Liz Mills, who is running this webinar right now. So thank you, Liz. We hired a strong enrichment program manager, Nicole Andrews, back in October. She has already planned our summer programming, which will be posted as early as next week. And you will hear from Nicole later on tonight. Middle school teacher Cade is out from October until the end of January, with a return date yet to be determined. In the meantime, we hired Chris Keller for the middle school position in the Temperance classroom. We're excited to have Chris on our team. Chris has extensive experience with adults and children with neurodiversities, both in and out of school. Our middle school behavior therapist, Mr. Andy, will begin his new role as a substitute teacher and enrichment program assistant manager once we fill his position as a middle school behavior therapist. So finally, we're almost fully staffed in the school. Collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. One of the great joys of my role as principal is delivering the school orientation to all new school staff. It is during this time that I get to share our vision, our mission, and our school model. Teachers and behavior therapists work closely together to teach our students academic, social, emotional, behavior, and executive functioning skills. In the first 6 weeks of school, we use a variety of assessments, including, but not limited to, the assessment of functional living skills, Common Core assessments, and a variety of other academic assessments to identify students' strengths and areas of challenge, and also to monitor growth. The behavior team works closely with our staff to gather the most comprehensive data on the individual students to provide personalized learning experiences and to create social, emotional behavior goals for our students. In essence, we take the time in the first 6 weeks to go slow, to go fast. Our gradual release model means we have classroom ratios that increase slightly as students move from the lower school to middle school to high school, with the goal of independence from behavior therapists. At Academy of Whole Learning, we truly believe that kids do well if they can. Therefore, we provide support in a variety of ways through accommodations, interventions, and personalized learning. We collaborate to unlock potential, empower students, and help them soar. Another overarching principle that guides our team at Academy of Whole Learning is we first look to ourselves. What does that mean? When things get challenging, and they often do during a pandemic, we look first to ourselves and ask, what can I do to problem solve? The answer often is collaboration. We believe in the power of collaboration. We know that everyone in our team has been selected because they are passionate about serving the neurodiverse. And our skill sets together enhance the students' experience and make us a stronger team. We feel so fortunate that you have entrusted us to educate and care for your students. Finally, I would like to give an update on our 7-year accreditation process. Academy of Whole Learning is accredited through Minnesota Non-Public School Accreditation Association, or MNSA. The mission of MNSA is to be a catalyst for enhancing the quality of pre-K to grade 12 non-public education in Minnesota through a comprehensive accreditation process. How is this done? In a process, establishing high standards of quality and excellence for learning, requiring an extensive evaluation and visionary strategic plan for improvement, facilitating the continuous improvement of member schools, monitoring accountability of member schools, providing education and training opportunities, and last but certainly not least, developing partnerships with public and private organizations. Why are we doing this? Well, here are a couple of key highlights for why we seek accreditation. Accreditation provides a framework for the best possible education program for learners. It delivers recognized credibility of the quality of a school program in the eyes of the stakeholder and the public. Also, we are making a public statement that our school is willing to be measured against rigorous standards to engage in long-term strategic planning. And of course, to highlight many excellent accomplishments from the school and from our students. I want to give a shout out to our accreditation coordinator, who happens to also be our high school Spanish teacher, Ms. Tina San Miguel. In December, we already filed a letter of intent to get reaccredited. We are currently in year 6 of 7. During this process, we will begin our self-study. We will develop profiles and standards narrations. We will identify strengths and file the annual progress report. The self-study will help us identify strengths and areas for improvement, and therefore inform our school's strategic plan to be developed as early as May and through the summer. The following year, in 2022-2023, will be the final year, the 7th and final year. During this cycle, we will develop the school strategic plan and build stakeholder buy-in in the school strategic plan. And highlight, we will host an on-site visit at our new building in Golden Valley. What a nice coincidence. We'll be reaching out to about 10% of parents to get some feedback on our school strategic plan. To summarize, before the end of the 7-year accreditation eligibility period, we must follow the following process. 3 steps. We're going to complete our self-study comprised of a school profile. We're going to write reflective standard narrations, which guide the identification of strengths and opportunities for growth. Second, we're going to use self-study data gathered to develop the Visionary School Strategic Plan for improvement. And finally, the third step, we're going to host an on-site accreditation team visit to review evidence and validate our findings of the school, and then evaluate readiness for our accreditation. Thank you for the opportunity to reflect on the state of the school. I look forward to more great things to come. I would like to invite you to keep watching and hear from other staff members highlighting other great things to come. Next, you will hear from Anita Haas, who is our Director of Curriculum and Instruction and Innovation. And then you'll hear from Lisa Janisch, who is our Director of Behavior Education, and their roles at Academy of Whole Learning.
Hello, I am Anita Haas, and I am the Director of Curriculum, Instruction, and Innovation. What does that look like? So I research curriculum and instructional resources for our teaching staff and faculty. I also help implement those instructional strategies as well. And research and the implementation of educational technology and assistive technology for our learners. This year, I'm helping accreditation and the process with that. And then I also have been building a resource bank for our assessment of functional living skills, the AFLS. And last, I'm just excited to be back. Here's Lisa, our Director of Behavior Education.
Hi, well, we're happy to have you back, Anita. I'm Lisa Janisch, the Director of Behavior Education, and I oversee the behavior department. Currently, we have a behavior therapy supervisor, which is Grace, and when Mr. Andy's position is filled, we will have 7 BTs in the school. Some of my responsibilities are to be the main communicator between the clinic and the school. So wanting to ensure that we are consistent and that we're collaborating on our students. I also reach out and consult and collaborate with medical professionals. I also make behavioral decisions for staff, students, and keep the principal updated. I also plan and oversee the development and implementation of programs, policies, and best practice. And this year, we are really focusing on communication between the behavior department and you as parents by sending the monthly emote data and also progress on the social emotional individual goals. Another piece that we developed this year is the tiered behavior support system. And so in Tier 1, all students are in Tier 1, and that is that students are receiving assessments. We're working on those individual SEL goals and classroom goals, and then also looking at those individual accommodations and general accommodations. Now, if a student needs a little more support, then they would move up to that Tier 2, which we would then have intervention plans or behavioral plans, and up to about an hour a day of one-to-one behavioral support. But if a student needs a little bit more than that, then we would move that student to Tier 3, which they're needing a little more intensive support. And at that point, we would reach out to the clinic, and the clinic then does a diagnostic assessment and then would determine if what type of service was medically necessary. Next, I would like to introduce Paul Gloudemans, who is the Director of Admissions.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. Paul Gloudemans, as Lisa said, Director of Admissions. It's hard to believe, but it's that time of year again to talk about re-enrollment for next school year. So in preparation for the 2022-23 school year, I would like to discuss a few key dates and information regarding re-enrollment. Some of this information has been previously communicated via the Bridge newsletter and via email, but this will serve as a good reminder for everyone as well. First, applications for tuition assistance and the Crosby Scholarship are due on Friday, February 11th, and we will be notifying families of their award amounts via HelloSign the first week of March. we ask that those award letters be signed via HelloSign by March 9th. Moving forward, being that we do have evergreen contracts at Academy of Whole Learning, the contract that you initially signed ensures continuous enrollment for your child. This means that you don't have to hassle the new contract every year. Your student will automatically be enrolled for next school year unless you notify me of withdrawal by March 11th. And for your convenience, we will be placing a $1,000 deposit following school year on your Smart Tuition account after the 11th of March. As always, we are very honored to serve all of our Academy of Whole Learning students and families, and we sincerely hope that all of our students and families come back again next year. If any of you do have questions regarding re-enrollment, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Nicole Andrews to talk more about enrichment and summer programming.
Hi, I am Nicole Andrews, and I am our Enrichment Program Manager. I have the pleasure of planning and helping to implement our daily programming for students, both after school, during activity days, and as Paul stated, for our summer programming. Students have access to before and after school care with Owl's Nest daily, and our behavioral therapists help us to execute some fun and engaging activities with them, as well as provide some supports in those spaces where it's a little less structured and more focused on building social skills. We also offer clubs every single session. We have a session in March, starting March 14th through May 20th for session 3. Our clubs are determined by our teachers, parents, and students' interest, and we're really excited to provide them with new activities as well as bring in the things that really bring them joy, like D&D. I also have the pleasure of planning and executing activity days. During that time, we are allowed to have students come back to campus, even though they're non-school days, for them to continue their routines and practice their schedules that they work on every single day. As Dr. Grande stated, summer is fast approaching, and we are right in the heart of getting our summer planning out to you all. We'll have 3 sessions this summer, starting June 6th. During session 1 and 2, you'll find our academic programs, where we'll still continue to have Parliament and Learn to Learn for students to practice skills so that they can eliminate that summer slide. And we'll continue to have some social skills for them, both in session 1 and 2, as well as in session 3, where they'll get full day activities, including a new partnership with Wilderness Inquiry. That'll provide them an opportunity to learn about the outdoors, as well as practice some new skills, which will culminate in an event where we will go canoeing on the Mississippi River. All of this is contingent on us understanding and being prepared and safe through COVID. And we've been lucky enough to have such a wonderful leader in Allison Barosko, who has helped us through this process, and she will speak next.
Thanks, Nicole. I have just a few numbers that I want to share with you first. Some statistics that I've been tracking along the way here. This is a dashboard that represents the COVID-related activity for the entire organization. So this is the school, the clinic, and then the adult program and enrichment, of course, and all the staff related to those different 4 arms of the organization. This is current as of today. And if you take a look at the top line, we've had a total of 28 constituents who tested positive for COVID along the way. Not too much activity in the beginning of the year, but then January happened. I think my phone has been kind of ringing off the hook since January 3rd. If you look down at the next line, then we've had a total of 103 people who were identified as a close contact, somebody in the school or in the clinic. They were considered a close contact of them. So that was 103 notices that were sent. And then again, one of our constituents with the household exposures, we've had 19 different people who had a household exposure that they experienced. Now, many of those household exposures went on to become positive for COVID themselves. So those numbers are reflected in the 28. You know, when you look at the number for January, it looks very high, but this is not really surprising given what's been going on in the community in Hennepin County and of course across the country as a whole. So while this looks like a big number, I can tell you that only 2 of these cases could I consider to be directly related to each other. Even though there's been a bunch of cases that have been identified, it has not led to spread within the organization. So one of the mitigation pieces that we have in place is our sick policy. And you can read it on the website. It's 2 pages long, but really what it boils down to is this, is that if your child wakes up and has new symptoms, please keep them at home. Once you've had a chance to get them tested using a PCR test and they test negative, they can return to school if their symptoms allow them to. As you can imagine, I get inundated with information about COVID. So I attend a couple of different weekly pandemic briefings. I read a lot. There's just a ton of information out there and a lot of feedback that I get from people. And it's hard to pick and choose different sources. So what we've decided to do is just choose one voice to listen to. For our quarantine and isolation guidelines, the voice we're listening to is the CDC. And as you might remember, back at the end of December, they set some new guidelines for quarantine and isolation. So the days of the 14-day quarantines are gone, I'm thankful to say. Now, if you are exposed either at school or in the community, you must wear a mask for 10 days. We do that anyway at school. In some cases, we do have people require for 5 to 10 days, but for the majority of cases, there's no time away that's required from school. Household exposures, those are a little trickier to say how long they're going to last. I'd say expect a minimum of 10 days. They're really based on individual circumstances though. So if that pops up for your family, please give me a call and we can help figure that out for you. If you or your child ends up becoming sick with COVID, the minimum number of days is 5. It used to be 10. The actual date of return though really depends on where symptoms are at and getting a negative rapid antigen test. The maximum quarantine though is 10 days unless the symptoms are so bad that they would prevent you from returning at that time. A lot of people ask about masks because seems like we've been wearing them forever, and we do have out there that we want to be able to dial that back a little bit and take them off at some point during the classroom day. So when we are slated to make a change in that is once the Hennepin County transmission rates have come down to the moderate range. You can see for the last month from looking at these two graphs that the cases per 100,000 people in the last 7 days is well over the number where it needs to be. It needs to be under 50 to be considered in moderate. We're over 1,900 at this point, and I know going back, it's about 6 weeks that we've been in the 300 range and up. Looking at the positivity rate for Hennepin County, we're currently almost at 22%, and again, that needs to be under 8% before we would start looking at making a change to our masking policy. And those numbers I expect that they'll drop off quickly soon, but they need to be in the moderate range for 3 weeks before we would officially make a change within the classrooms. Speaking of masks, you've probably heard a lot in the news lately about, is it okay to wear cloth masks? What kind are the best to wear? And I've got these 2 flyers from CDC where they lay out kind of from the most protective kinds of masks on the left to the least effective, the cloth masks, single ply over on the right. So just take a look at that and see what you're comfortable having your child wear. The emphasis seems to be now on the fit, not so much what the mask is made out of. So choosing a mask with a nose wire can help improve the fit of your mask. Try to make sure there's no big gapping here around the cheeks. And there's some suggestions on this flyer, and I can make this available to everybody. I noticed as I took a critical look at how I was wearing a mask and my family that, we have some changes that we can make. So while we are making the masks, and those are our good line of defense during our quarantine periods, please take a look at this and see if there's any changes that you'd like to make. So now I have the pleasure of introducing our Executive Director, Dr. Wyayn Rasmussen.
Hi, thank you for coming this evening. Let me get my video started. I wanted to share just a bit. Every year we share an update on our finances so that our parents know where we're at, know if we're a sustainable entity, and I'm happy to report that we are. Our Director of Finance and Operations, Martin Aschenbrenner, put this together, and I get to report for him. The way our fiscal year goes from August 1 to July 31st. And then we have an auditing firm that comes in and spends nearly a week going through everything that we have and just letting us know that we have done things or giving suggestions if they have them. So this is mainly to show you that even through a pandemic year, last year ending July 31st, we were almost exactly right on from what we had anticipated we would be at for the school's actual income and expenses. So just a quick summary to assure you that we are on track. Thank you. Just before I talk about the Difference Maker Awards, I do want to give a shout out to Allison and everything that she has been doing for us as our COVID coordinator. Last year, we had King Louis, and we made a crown for him, which he ceremoniously gave to me over the summer. I unceremoniously just placed it on Allison's desk recently. Here you go. So I was either genius or perhaps lucky that Allison came on as our COVID coordinator in December, just before everything took off in January. So Allison, thank you. You are putting in more hours than you knew when you said, okay, that you would do it. So thank you very much. I have a chance now to announce our 2022 Difference Makers. And every year we have nominations for individuals who have given above and beyond for our organization and have helped. And every year it is a very tough decision to who those two people could possibly be. But I am so happy to tell you about the two that were selected this year. First one is Gray Ward. So Gray received their award a couple of weeks ago, and I think they might be willing to show it to you after I share a few comments from their nomination. Gray has a gentle, calming spirit that always brings warmth, joy, and humor to those around them. Gray has done a wonderful job capturing the day-to-day special moments that occur at Academy of Whole Learning through the lens of their camera, giving the viewer a glimpse into our special community. They jump in to help with whatever project is needed with a lovely smile on their face. Gray is a pleasure to have at Academy of Whole Learning. One other nomination read, Gray has provided their expertise to the smart sign in the lobby. This is the digital piece at the front. It says welcome, it has everyone's birthdays on it. It tells what's happening during the day. Students go to that almost first when they walk in to see what's coming up in the day. And Gray has taken that on and has recreated it. In addition, Gray has taken photos of Academy of Whole Learning events that require the use of their free time. All of these things Gray does with a smile and gracious demeanor. It is a joy to work with them. So I would like to give Gray just a chance to share a few words of their own right now.
Over the years, I have come to be very emotionally invested in our mission and our students at Academy of Whole Learning. All that we do to help our students academically, socially, and emotionally thrive, and that I could be a part of that means so much to me. I am honored to have been awarded the Academy of Whole Learning Difference Maker Award. Thank you so much to everyone at Academy of Whole Learning.
There it is. Thank you, Gray. Our second difference maker this year is Aki Yoshino. Aki is last year and this year the chair of our MOAC fundraiser coming up in May, and she'll tell you a little bit about it coming up. But from her nominations, this was written. Aki is a kind, gentle, compassionate leader. She makes people feel seen and valued for their unique abilities and contributions, lifting them up in the process. She is a passionate advocate for the work being done at Academy of Whole Learning and can articulate to others why our work is so critical. When given a task, she gives 150%, exceeding expectations and delivering record-breaking results, which can only help our organization. Another nomination reads, to describe Aki as hardworking is an understatement. She brings her positive energy and passion to each and every project. She cares so deeply about the work at Academy of Whole Learning and goes above and beyond in advocating for us in the community. She is an intelligent and thoughtful leader who was an absolute joy to chair the Minds of All Kinds event. She never fails to bring new insights and a smile to every meeting. And one final comment, Thank goodness for Aki. She is one of the most intuitive, thoughtful, and compassionate people I've ever known. So thank you very much, Aki, and I am going to turn it over to Aki now to say a few words.
Well, thank you so much for this recognition. And I just echo Gray. This organization has meant so much to me and my family. You can see there, I have a confident, happy 8th grader who loves school. He begs me for 7:30 in the morning orthodontist appointments so he doesn't have to miss school. You know, snow is coming. He makes me get up early so that we can be there on time. But I really feel like it's unfair for me to get recognized for Minds of All Kinds last year because it was such a team effort. So I want to just shine a light on some of the key people that really helped us put that event on this year. So first of all, Kelsey Goth. If you haven't had the pleasure of meeting Kelsey, she's amazing. And she is so talented. She, you know, from overseeing the script to organizing the video, she's a technical wizard. She is the heart behind the program. Maureen Maher did such a wonderful job getting all of our sponsors for the event. And it was her idea to have subcommittees. You can see them there on the top left of your screen. That's just a fraction of the parent volunteers that we had for this event. I want to thank all of the students and parents that participated and shared their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs. That's why people tune into Minds of All Kinds, is to hear those heartwarming stories. I want to thank every single parent volunteer on our subcommittees, especially Peg Kucha and Jen Johnson, who worked countless hours on our event boxes, Margie Fuchs and Allison Barosko, who led our parent communications subcommittee. Allison is a digital wizard who put together a digital toolbox to help parents invite their family and friends in their network. And Margie put together the most amazing communication plan that we will follow for years to come. And lastly, I just want to thank everybody in our community, everyone watching who invited and participated. And with that, we can segue into talking about Minds of All Kinds 2022. And I'm gonna turn it over to my partner, Kelsey Goth.
Hello, my name is Kelsey Goth, and I am the advancement coordinator in the advancement department. And I'm also the staff co-chair for the Minds of All Kinds annual fundraiser, which is often referenced as MOAC. So when you hear MOAC, that just means Minds of All Kinds. And tonight, Aki and I are just going to be laying out what MOAC is and how we can use your help. So to start off, what is MOAC? It's our largest fundraising event of the year. It's a 1-hour program that highlights our staff and our parents and students, just telling the stories of the transformative success that happens at Academy of Whole Learning. Last year, we got the chance to also incorporate our clinic and our adult education program and the amazing work that's going on in those as well. In non-COVID years, this is usually an in-person breakfast event, but the last few years we have been virtual for everyone's safety. So the mission of this event is to introduce people to Academy of Whole Learning. So who we are, what we do, our amazing staff and our amazing families, and through this process, inspire donors to give to our organization. These donations are raising the key funds to run our programs and provide scholarships and also cover a lot of our general operating costs. So that's really why we need it. It's crucial for our organization because our tuition dollars don't cover the full operating budget. So this event really helps cover those key funds. And this event also involves our entire community. So as Aki mentioned, we had so many incredible parent volunteers, and we also have staff involvement and obviously all of our families that are willing to share their stories. So it's really an awesome event that brings everyone together. And like I mentioned, those operating costs are things like our salaries for staff, utilities, all of our materials. Our goal for this year is to raise $150,000, which seems like a lofty goal, but we have just such an incredible team. I have no doubt that we are going to be able to do that. So if you have your phone out with your calendar up or just a Post-it note and pen, you can mark down Thursday, May 5th from 7 to 8 o'clock. And that's just going to be wherever you have access to the internet. There's a lot more details to come, but mark your calendars. And then I'm going to hand it back over to Aki, and she's going to talk about how you can help and why you should get excited about this event.
That's right. We depend on your help. And so your participation is crucial. Please register for the event as soon as communications are sent out. Last year, we had our highest family participation rate ever, and we're just hoping that it can go up this year. The second thing is to please invite your family and friends to the event. Last year, just as an example, we had 83 people who were not able to attend the event, but they donated simply because they received an invitation. When you invite someone, even if they can't attend, they can donate. Our donations ran from $5.63 up to $10,000 last year. We cherish every single dollar. No donation is too small, and no donation is too big either. And then the third thing, please join us and tune in on March 5th to celebrate the awesome success of our students and families. And I don't know how everyone is feeling. A lot of people are a little virtualed out, but there are many positives to us having a virtual event. And because we are flexible thinkers, we are going to embrace the positive. The first thing is that having a virtual event allows us to include tons of people. We will have a student co-MC. We will have a student-led movement break. You will get to see more families. We can highlight the work of the adult program, the clinic. It's just, we could never gather this many bodies in the same room. So that's one positive. The second thing, being virtual removes all barriers of who can attend. You see two maps of the United States below. On the right, the red dots represent participants from the 2019 Minds of All Kinds. And as you can see, I think we got as far as Chicago, maybe a little bit out east. The one on the left is the red dots represent participation in our 2021 Minds of All Kinds. So it's great from Florida to California, New York to Washington State. It's awesome. You can invite anyone you want. And last, I hear no good news these days. We all need some more good news, some great stories. This event shines such a light on the great work that our staff do every day. And it showcases how incredibly capable people with autism spectrum disorder and other neurodiversities are. An entire team of parent volunteers will be following up with you this spring. So we just thank you. This will be coming in your mail pretty soon. And with that, I turn over to Mike Faeth for an adult education update. Thank you.
Thank you, Aki. My name is Mike Faeth, and when I am not floating in outer space, I am the Adult Education Program Manager. And what that means is that I run our program for participants ages 18 to 26, which I think means I have one of the coolest jobs in the organization. I love working with these young adults. In fact, as I'm watching this event, one of them texted me and said, "You are born in 1982, you are old," which that's fair. I am pretty old, but they're doing so many wonderful things. And we have such a diverse and kind of fun group that every day I come into work, it's just a blast. But I'm just going to talk really briefly about just a few key updates on our program tonight, but also invite you all to attend our virtual information night event, very similar to this format, on February 15th at 7 p.m. It will also have Q&A at the end that I'll just answer live. It will be recorded and shared. There are a couple really big, fun, exciting updates that will, I think, kind of change the future of this program in some really fun ways. And so I'm excited to be able to present there, and we'll send out an email with signing up. And if you can't make it, we will obviously send that recording out. Lastly, I do also want to thank everyone who attended our fall information parent night, where parents who are parents of our adult program participants presented, answered questions, and there was just a lot of fun sharing of information and stories and perspectives and stuff. So I've gotten a lot of really good feedback about that. So I think we're going to make that an annual event and encourage just more people to come, frankly, really, whether you're an Academy of Whole Learning parent or not. I just think that's such a cool thing to be able to do. But to speak really briefly on our program, we are now in our second year. And we're seeing a lot of sort of steady, healthy growth. Participants who are graduates of the Academy of Whole Learning, some alumni who have come back, and external people who are just sort of getting to know us for the first time, adding kind of a fun mix. We've increased our programming options and our hours, and many of our students take advantage of our flex enrollment, which means that a lot of our participants attend essentially part-time. They're here from 9 to 2:30, or they're here from 11 to 5. And that is because so many of our students work part-time, they attend community college, they have obviously interests outside of our programming, and we strongly encourage that. We want to be a community-based, flexible program that, offers programming and options and times and, days that really work best for families as we sort of make that gradual release out into the quote unquote real world. We also are offering external services through Voc Rehab, where we are offering job coaching and self-advocacy skills and job exploration, college exploration services, not only to our own students who could potentially be referred by our Voc Rehab counselor, but throughout the county, and actually most of our clients lately have been coming from Ramsey County, so throughout really sort of the metro area. Lastly, I'd like to announce that we, the adult program, will be staffing what we're calling Adult Advantage this year, what used to be called Grad Ready. So that summer program that's really geared towards a lot of what we do in our adult program, the community exploration, the employment skills, the life skills. And that will be, I think, session 1 and 2 in the afternoon. And maybe a mix of high school along with adult ed students, depending upon enrollment. But we're really excited to kind of get back into that. My first year when we did Grad Ready, I taught it with Kelsey, who now is also running the adult program with me. And I'm really passionate about that. I think it's great to start that process as early as you can. So with that, I would like to pass it off to Katie Thormodsgaard, our Director of Therapy Services.
Thanks, Mike. I am Katie Thormodsgaard, the Director of our Therapy Services, and I'm going to respectfully disagree with Mike that I have the best job at the Academy. I get to work with children starting at age 2 all the way up into adulthood, so I get to see so many different journeys. So I think I'm gonna win there. But I just want to give everybody a little review on what services that we offer. The first being psychotherapy, or sometimes called outpatient therapy, and we offer this to children, adults, and families. Like I said, we work with a whole span of ages. And this therapy is really to focus on the mental health piece. And so we really want to work with clients and their families to help them be the best that they can be. You may have a picture in your head from the movies of someone sitting on a couch and kind of spilling their guts to a therapist. So that's kind of encapsulates what that program is about. Our next program is our Intensive Behavior Intervention Program, or IBI. This can be related to, if you've heard of ABA therapy before, which stands for Applied Behavior Analysis. The reason why we call it something different is because we really adapt to the individual, and we really try to make it their own and develop their own treatment plans. And we don't follow a very as structured program as ABA does. The difference between these two programs is that it's more skill-based than mental health-based. So we really are focusing on strengths and where the deficits are, so that we can build on those strengths and really support those deficits. Sessions can be held within the school setting, in the community, or in the home. Our last program are therapeutic groups, and these groups are meant to have clients be together with like-minded or have similar situations so that they can build community within each other. There is a facilitator, however, they don't lead the group. They definitely facilitate it, and they want it to be a more peer-focused, peer-structured focus. And these groups are 8 to 10 sessions, and we really try to coordinate it with the clubs so that students can hopefully be in a group and in a club at the same time. Some fun facts, at least I think they're fun. We are currently serving 92 clients, which you can see there that last year it was 64 and the year before it was 19. So we've really had substantial growth. We have 2 mental health professionals and we had a mental health intern this year, which is really exciting. Her name is Melissa Eichhoff. You may know her as Melissa Trunk. She was a behavior therapist in the school last year. So it's been really fun to be working with her. We have Lizzie, who's our BCBA. And then we have 2 brand new positions coming into this year. We have 2 treatment leads and 2 senior registered behavior therapists. And then we have grown from 7 registered behavior therapists to 11. We have a full-time billing specialist, and we are currently credentialed with most of the major insurances. Another interesting and fun adventure that we have come across is that we are transitioning our social skills groups into the enrichment program, into the after school club time under Nicole. We wanted to have a bigger outreach for our student population, and we're really excited to have our mental health therapists who are running them now work with our trained behavior therapists to help run that group and work on social skills specifically. You can see there that some of the goals in those groups are conversations and joint attention. And again, similar to the therapeutic group, we want kids to really interact with each other. Groups really help the in vivo learning. And so learning things in real time is the key to the group participation. So we're really excited for Nicole to spearhead the social skills groups. So now I have the pleasure of handing it off to our vice chair of our Board of Trustees, Kim Snow.
Thanks, Katie. Good evening. So we've spent a lot of time. I'm Kim Snow. I am vice chair of the board, chair of the Capital Campaign Committee, as well as a parent of the school. Probably my most important role is chair of a student at the school. And I just want to talk about a couple of things as we look to the future of our organization. So we've gotten an opportunity to hear a lot about where we are today, and I'm the lucky person that gets to kick off the conversation about where we're going tomorrow. We are, in a few minutes, John, our chair of our board, will talk to you, talk through and show pictures of our new building. I was lucky enough to get to go on a hard hat tour recently, and I have to say our kids are going to love their new space. High ceilings, natural light, lots of the classrooms are beautiful and give the kids space, both in the classroom and in the surrounding areas that John will point out. We'll have 2 great community spaces in a gym and a community room that are coming. They're not there yet. You'll see that there's a lot of work going to get them here. So super excited about it, but with that comes a lot of work, as the numbers you can see on the page. We have been working very hard on the Unlock Potential campaign. Our total goal is for $10.5 million. We have raised almost 8.6, and we have another just under 1.9, I won't even say under 1.9 million to go. To date, most of these gifts have come from individuals. Many of the parents on this are part of that giving group. So I want to say a huge thank you to you for everything you've given. We know that a capital campaign is above and beyond your annual giving commitment. And so we are really honored that you're willing to give an additional amount of money to the capital campaign and the future of the organization. So thank you very much. If you're sitting here thinking, oh, as you look at the pictures, I would love to be a part of that campaign, Carly Cordum or Maureen Maurer would love to hear from you. They are both working very tirelessly alongside myself and a committee of people working very hard to get the money raised. We are also transitioning some of our funding from individual donors to looking at foundations and really focusing on both institutional foundations and family foundations. So if you're listening in the back of your head, think, oh, the company I work for has a great foundation and they believe in education, or they believe in mental health, or they believe in the neurodiverse and helping them live fantastic lives and transitioning into adulthood. We would love to know who they are, and we would love to talk to them. So in mirroring what Aki said earlier, every dollar helps. So we would greatly appreciate your gift to the future of our new building. If you haven't given yet, And thank you to everybody that has. So really more to come on this, but just lots of great momentum going on the campaign side, and great momentum, which John will share in a few minutes, on the new building. And with that, I also get to transition from one major project to a second major project. We are in the process of rebranding our organization. We're at a pivotal moment in time with the overall organization. We started as a school, and as you've heard tonight, we've expanded our programming broadly in the last 5 years. We've added a clinic, and we've added more enrichment programs and more summer programs, and partnerships within both enrichment and summer programs that are getting us out, as well as the adult program. So we've really broadened beyond the school, and we're moving into a new building, which gave the organization a time to take a moment and step back and decide that it was a good opportunity to rebrand the organization and really create a name and a look and a feel that represents the whole organization, not just our flagship, which is our school. So we are working on that project. Starting to get to a new brand is to visit your mission, vision, and values. So we engaged an organization called Yamamoto Moss, or Yamamoto. They gave up the Moss, I always forget, but Yamamoto, which is a branding and marketing agency, they've been helping us. And we reworked the mission and vision of the organization as well as the values. This was a completely collaborative project. Yamamoto came in and interviewed stakeholders, from staff to board members to parents to people that looked at the school and decided not to come, to really understand what it is and what we do, so that we could reframe our mission and give us room to continue to grow as we move into the future. And from there, they came up with the first round of concepts, and then worked with the board and senior leaderships to refine and reflect those, and really to where you see on the slide our new mission and vision. So our mission is: we transform lives by addressing the holistic academic, social, emotional, and mental health needs of the neurodiverse. And it was intentional that we're using the word neurodiverse we are broadening from just children and young adults on the ASD spectrum. And we have lots that have other learning needs and neurodiversities. So we intentionally have been using that word. Our vision, which I am so excited about, and I think gives us a huge umbrella to continue to expand our ideas, is enable every neurodiverse person to have an exceptional human experience. We all live with some very unique and exceptional humans every day, and to have an organization that can help, and with a mission and vision to help continue to give these kids going into young adults an opportunity to thrive is really, really great. The values you can read are courage, creativity, collaboration, accountability, celebrate neurodiversity, and tenacity. And I think they all ring true for both our staff and our teachers and all the organizational leadership, as well as a lot of the, values that our kids bring to the table. So super excited about the work we've done. From this point, we now started the work on renaming the organization. And what does that look and feel? We're in the middle of that process. We have nothing to share today, but coming soon, sometime this spring, you will see a big rollout and launch of a new name for our organization. And we're super excited about it. It will fit well with our move to the new campus, and it will give us an opportunity to really build awareness of our new place and our permanent home, and build on the already great organization that we have. So super excited about what's to come. And with that, I will transition to John Higgins, our board chair, to talk through the exciting things happening at the new building.
Kim, thank you. We are now in the final minutes, so appreciate your patience. Great program today. I'm the chair of the board. I have been for a few years, and want to thank Kim for the excellent work she's doing. I'm going to make just a couple of remarks about the board and our work, and then have a show and tell, a few photos about the new campus. For starters, though, I want to say thanks. It's a privilege to be able to lead the board in such an amazing institution, but I want to say thanks to our difference makers, Aki and Gray. It's really, really special to award people for incredible service. I want to thank the teachers and staff. As a parent, I've worked with you. You've taken care of my family, but to work with you at a professional level has been amazing, inspiring. The fact that some of our staff are fighting over who has a better job shows the passion, the commitment, and is fun. I also want to thank the parents, the people, all of you who have trusted your children, your families, to our care and service. We appreciate you joining our family. You make us stronger, you challenge us, and we are a community. And without parents, without the students that are part of our programming, we would not be here. So thank you to everybody. The board, we have 15 trustees, and it's a phenomenal mix. Very gifted people. We have therapists, we have educators, we have lawyers, auditors, business leaders, major donors, parents. It's a really, really quality mix of highly engaged, highly talented professionals that are helping navigate our school. The board's role overall is to provide oversight, to help with the major project support and planning. And again, we are there to support the team and to really provide as great of a programming as possible. I've got a few slides now of the campus. We bought a building a little over a year ago. We announced it at the meeting this time last year. It is amazing the progress we made, not only fundraising, but also selecting an architect and a contractor, the planning, the permitting, amazing amount of work. And now, of course, construction has started. We are on track to finish in the June, July timeframe. We expect to be open for summer programming. And of course, the new school year in August. We're very, very excited about this. We have two contractors. Zeman is the builder, and SRA is our architect, and they've been amazing partners for us. Just a few photos, the new building construction. These are our cold winter photos. To see the before and afters is really amazing. So we'll take you on a brief journey. This is the north excavation. We ripped off the north side of the building. We had to dig massive footings. There's going to be a brand new entrance. It's going to have a lot of glass. It's going to have a large canopy. We'll have amazing view out into the parking lot for security and protection. And then a very welcome area to bring families in, not only protected from the elements, but also as a greeting place and a secure way to transfer our guests throughout our respective areas. Our next slide is the demolition, the foundation work that is connecting the space between the two buildings. The campus, and we call it a campus, it is 5 acres. It's 5 amazing acres, beautiful grassland, good space, some outstanding 180-year-old old growth oak trees. But the building was designed as 2 pods, an east and a west wing. And the layout works beautifully for our services. We have a clinic, we have adult ed, and then the school and the administrative offices. The middle corridor will be a way to transition our faculty, our staff, and our families between these various service areas. It'll also lead us into the community room, the gathering space. It'll take us into the gym, the recreation area, and also be an amazing outdoor welcome area towards our outdoor facilities. So our next site, next photo, this is the South Campus. This may look like a kind of a dull photo, hard to understand what's going on, but we have a stormwater runoff that we have to manage for. And instead of it running into the street or creating some erosion issues, very, very smartly, our builders designed a way to create an underground well that will be under the artificial play surface. We have a really smartly designed exterior campus with swings and playground. We've got an outdoor recreation field, but you can see this large ditch and trench is bedded with gravel. It'll collect the rainwater and again, really be a smart way to keep the campus clean and safe and also utilize the play field. So we're excited about this. The east side of the building, it's hard to figure out what this erector set is going on here, but it's going to be a real signature feature of the new building. We had to change the stair layout and we struggled with how to do that and fit classrooms. And somebody had a brilliant idea. Let's put the stairs on the outside of the building and then clad the whole staircase in glass. So it's a smart design. It frees up space and flow on the inside, but it's going to be a real architectural signature feature on the exterior of this building. Not only attractive aesthetically, but also to let light in. We think it'll be fun for the students, for the family, and the teachers. This is right adjacent to the play field on the east side of the building. All right, the next slide, just one or two left. If some photos of the interior space, the school hallway, very smartly designed. There's an upstairs and a downstairs, a lower school and upper school. These cutouts on the left are designed for lockers that will be flush with the walls. On the right side is the science classroom. And when I say science classroom, yes, we're going to have a science classroom. As Kim said, we have tall ceilings. We've got heating, air conditioning, all the infrastructure of a smartly designed new building. All right, and then interior of the lower classrooms, again, you see some finishes. Again, this is all very preliminary, but we've got smart colors that are appropriate for classrooms. We've got real practical functional cabinetry and space that is tailored for our individual classroom, but also that can be expanded to share multiple rooms for joint classroom instruction. And might be the last slide. So I just want to conclude by saying, one, thanks. It's been an incredible team effort, the project planning, meetings daily, certainly weekly, some at 7 in the morning, at 10 below, where we're doing hard hat construction tours. We had to secure lending from a bank. We're fundraising, but I'm really proud of what this team has accomplished. We run a school. We aren't in the business of building buildings, but this is on time, it's on budget, and it's going to be a really, really important project for the next 50 years. We've raised 8.5, almost 9 million. It's a lot of money, but we aren't done. And if any family can join the cause, can help us at any level, we'll take it. But this is really such an important project to secure our future. We will make an outreach to any family who can join the cause and wants to participate more actively in the campaign. With that, I'll turn it over to Wyayn for closing remarks.
Thank you, John, very much for giving us this tour. And we are so pleased that you all came and joined us and found time in your evening. We hope that you learned a lot. Please feel free to leave any questions in our chat. We will keep this up for just a few minutes. Any questions that are left in the chat, we will answer and get out to everyone. So thank you again. We're so pleased you joined us.